All right, guys, I've been getting a lot of questions recently about my particular TIG setups for welding the stainless steel material. People are wondering, what tungsten and what gas flow and what cups and filler and everything that I'm using. So I thought I'd just make a quick video. This right here is a piece of 2.5-inch stainless from Ace Race Parts. As you can see, it's already got already welded the V-band flange onto it. This is going to be just a wastegate dump that's going on this truck. When I do all my stainless joints, I like to just put a small bevel on both ends, as you can see there. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. For me personally, I feel that this bevel helps to keep that puddle from wanting to wander. I know there's some guys out there that they don't do a bevel. They just put the joints together right out of the package and then weld it, and it works out great for them. But for me, having this little bit of bevel here gives that filler somewhere to kind of lie as you're going along welding it. And so I say that's going to be the first step if you're just getting into the TIG welding, or if you're kind of struggling on your stainless. Another thing is, you'll notice a lot of times when I'm welding, I will have like a T or maybe an S marked on the material. And what that's for is, whenever I start welding, I know where my top is that you're going to be able to visibly see when it's in the car. So I know that I want my start and my stops on all these welds to be the opposite direction of that. So I want it to be 180 of wherever I mark. And so that way that my start and stop is here on the back side, and you get nice one continuous weld all the way through, and it stops on the back. And so you don't have a start and stop right here in the middle where you're going to see. Now, that's not something that you have to do. It's just more of like a personal preference that I feel adds to, the look of the finished part when it's all said and done. Same thing like on the V-band here, is this is what you're going to see. You're not going to see the start and stop on the backside. So it's all just going to be this area. All right, now let's get into the welding settings themselves. So my favorite cup to use on the positioner is going to be the Furic BBW. This is, I believe, is an 18, if I'm not mistaken. It's a number 18 cup. I'm using a number 9 air-cooled torch, and a lot of times I'll have a shorter back cap on here, but this is just a fresh tungsten. I didn't feel like breaking it, so I've got the longer back cap on there. I use 3/32 2% lanthanated tungsten with a gas lens, of course. Again, that's also from Furic. This right here, to me, seems to be the best and most consistent setup, is using this cup. Now, you do have to use a bit more gas compared to, say, the FUPA number 12 cup. As you can see here, there is a bit of a size difference, but with this one, I see that around 25 CFH does good, and then with the BBW 35 CFH. Now, if I'm free-handing material, I will just go ahead and go with the FUPA, because it seems to do a lot better, because you're not having that positioner continue to rotate, and so you can kind of control how long that gas coverage stays in the area. Whereas like with this, if I was to use like the FUPA on the positioner, I notice my color won't be as good, because that part is moving and this gas lens is smaller, and so that weld area is not staying in that gas coverage as long as I would like. Whereas the BBW, since it's bigger and that part is spinning, it's giving that weld puddle a longer time to stay in that gas coverage area, and gives you a lot better coverage and color. Now onto the machine. So I use a Everlast Power TIG 315. You can get away with a 200. It just depends on what you're using this for. I like to use the 315 because in the automotive fab side, it tends to serve the purpose of everything that I need, from thin wall stainless up to welding intercooler cores, where you're up to 230, 240 amps. Now, as far as gas settings and amperage settings, so this, again, hopefully you can hear over the welder, is going to vary based on your personal preferences. But for me personally, I like to weld my stainless. This is 2.5-inch stainless, so I'll have it set to about 84 amps, and I use pulse. Now pulse, I do at 1 pulse per second. Let me turn this off so you guys can hear. Now the reason I like to use pulse is I feel that it gives me a rhythm that I know every time that pulse comes on, that I know I need to add filler, then I move, add filler, and I move, add filler, and I move. So it just kind of gives me a little bit of a rhythm to stay in. Now, as far as gas flow, we're just running 35 CFH at the torch, and then when back purging, I go through in about 15 to 20 CFH, depending on the length of the material and the diameter. Obviously, if you're doing something, like I said, this is 2.5. If you're doing something that's 4 inches diameter, it's going to be a lot more volume that you're trying to fill up, so you might have to increase that gas coverage. Now, let's go on to the positioner. So you're going to find that there is a ton of different positioners out there. I tried a cheaper version when I first started out, and I wasn't really happy with it. Now, this is the Cobra Turn T260 from MK. I feel it is the best setup that you can do. Now, I got mine on a little cart. It makes it a little easier to move it around and whatnot, because it is kind of heavy. But I'll go over a few things that I like about it. First is the digital speed readout. This, to me, is the number one thing that's going to help you out when it comes to using a positioner. And the reason is because every time that you load up a different diameter piece or a different kind of material, you're going to have to spin that part at a different RPM. So say you're spinning 2.5 inch stainless. Okay, well, I personally like to go at 0.5 RPM at 2.5 inch stainless. Now, if I load 3 inch stainless on here, now I'm gonna have to change the speed because that pipe is larger, and so your speed is gonna have to change for that. So if you do not have a digital speed readout, a lot of times they'll just have a knob here, just a analog knob, no digital, and you'll just kind of have to mess with it. Now, I guess you could technically go and put a mark for 2.5 inch stainless and 3 inch stainless and 3.5 and 4, and then you go through an aluminum, but then you're going to have a bunch of marks, and I think it's going to be hard to stay consistent. Whereas this, once you get the speed dialed in for whatever diameter material, like I write it down on my phone, and I know, okay, every time that I'm doing this, I'll set the machine to this RPM, and I know I'm good to go. I don't have to sit there and load the material up and then do a couple practice runs to see what the speed needs to be dialed in, and then I get to welding. So, with anything else, time is money. Another thing I really like about this part, or about this positioner, is the quick release clutch. So say you have a part loaded up right here, right? And it's locked. So you tack that part, you want to spin it. You don't have to sit there and push the pedal and wait for this thing to turn. You'd be waiting here. Now, yeah, you can adjust the speed up, but you'd be waiting. All you got to do, release the clutch, spin it 180, tack it, spin it another 90, tack it, spin it again, tack it, and then there you go. Now you can lock it and you're ready to go. So it's a really nice feature that allows you to be a little bit more agile with your part whenever you need to move it, make quick changes, and it just kind of adds to the cool features of this positioner. Another thing is it does have back purge capabilities here. So just hook your gas line up here, and then it comes straight through the middle. As you can see, I have the gas line going down there. It's just an 1/8 inch NPT nipple down there. This hose hooks up to it, and then I can just gas feed straight to the bottom of my part, and then you never have to worry about the hose getting tangled because it spins through the center of the chuck. See? Now this chuck is a bigger chuck than what comes with the MK. This is a VVOR chuck, so it is a cheap chuck, but it was off of eBay, and I think it was like $150 or something. But it's an 8 inch, so it will grab anything that I need it to here in the automotive industry. So it works perfectly. I'm not worried about it failing. Again, it's just a chuck, so it works great. Another thing with this positioner is the ability to be able to turn the head whichever direction. So right now, I like to weld like this. So the part will go like that. But if you like to do it horizontal, then you can sit there and rotate this positioner, and then there you go. Now you're welding this way if you wanted to weld from this side. Kind of just whatever your preference is. Now there is some other degrees here that you can go to all the way from 0 to 90. But again, I like to just weld on 0. It seems to be the easiest for me. It's what I'm used to. So, all right, guys. Well, hopefully this video is a little longer than I was expecting, but hopefully it'll kind of help you out, whether you're just getting started or you just needed a few little tips here and there. If you guys want to see any other videos like this, just give me a shout and let me know. Have a good one, guys.